Good everyone, guys. Today we have a tips and tricks advice video for events in terms of summer and winter events. I'll also be briefly talking about the Battle Pass events, challenges, and stuff like that because they do come into play as well here, but not all the time. So, as we all know, the summer and winter events obviously do roll around. The crafting events also do roll around at the same give or take. And a lot of the time, I see a lot of people struggling to get them done, even if it's just a low tier reward that they want. And a lot of people normally ask me in the comments, are like, "How do I do this? How do I just get started? How do I build a lineup? Things like that." I get asked it a lot. I even get asked it in my own Discord server. So what I wanted to do was to just give you some general tips and just overall advice on the tasks themselves and just pointing out what you can get away with and still get your stuff done even if you're a relatively new player. So we're going to be talking quite a bit, but of course I'm going to try and get through as much as I can within a short time frame. So yeah, we'll just see what we can do within the time frame that I've kind of set myself. So, starting off with the summer/winter event tasks. So, obviously, some of you may have actually seen that I actually left a comment on one of Dollar Place's videos where I basically said you can use rank 2 vehicles for this sort of thing, you just have to spawn at a rank 3 at least once. And that is still true. However, there was something that obviously I did put it in a comment, but not everyone would have read that far. There is another trick you can do, and that is putting a rank 4 vehicle that has a low BR or equivalent BR to your lineup that you're using in Tank RB and also Naval RB, because it also applies there, and you can actually make your grind a little bit easier for yourself. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's go and have a look. So as we can see here, my main vehicle here is the KV-85, which is a rank 3 4.7 heavy tank. Although its armor is a bit more like a medium some days. Certainly feels it. Some days it even feels like a light, but we'll gloss over that. So the KV-85 is a perfectly solid rank 3 tank and gets everything done that I needed to do. But you'll notice I have a rank 2 SPA in my lineup because Russia doesn't have a good rank 3 SPA. I don't care what anyone says, the ZIS-43 and the ZSU-37 are complete crap, so I use this. So, as long as I spawn in my rank 3 KV-85, T-34, or ISU, I can get points in the ZIS-12 if I need to. So if I need to get a cap late game, I can do that. If I need to shoot down some planes with the ZIS-12, I can do that. And all those points will count for a rank 3 match. Now, why am I saying a rank 3 match? Well, here's where you can actually make the exploit a little bit better. You'll notice in my lineup I have the LA-7 and the SU-6 AM-42. Now, why do I have these planes? Well, for a start, the rank 4 is going to come into play here, but it's also because these are awesome aircraft in ground RB. It's no question. The amount of times I've won dogfights in the LA-7 by just using strategy, and the amount of tankers I've made cry with the SU-6 is quite funny. But where does this come into relevance when it comes to the actual event themselves? Well, this is where we're going to look at it. So if we go over to Summer Extreme and we take a look at one of the tasks, such as this one here. So you'll see here, multiplier ground RB times 1.33, ground SB times 1.8, and ground AB times 0.93. You'll then also see multiplier by vehicle rank. 1 to 3, because you can use event vehicles for this if you have them, is times 0.8. 4 is times 0.9. V is 5, you know what I mean, Roman numerals, is times 1. 6 is times 1.1. 7 and 8 is times 1.2. Now, the critical point of actually reading this task correctly and understanding it is the bottom sentence, which is this. I mentioned this in the comment on that video, but I'm going to explain it again in case people didn't see that, of course. Use the vehicle in the mission. Now, that's very important because some of them say player's vehicle rank 1 to or rank 3 and above. If they say that, you can't use this trick. It must say use the vehicle in the mission. And a lot of these daily tasks, special tasks, event tasks like this one will have this wording. So what that means is you can actually use rank 2, rank 1 if you want to, vehicles in your mission, as long as you spawn a rank 3 vehicle, you will get the points that you get in those vehicles added to your mission score for these tasks. It's as simple as that. It's very easy to understand. And as you'll see there, for event vehicles, rank 1 and above, pretty simple. Now, why is this important, and why does this make sense when it comes to the KV-85, the LA7, and the SU6, and obviously my lineup in general? Well, as I said earlier, I can use the ZIS-12 and get some points as long as I spawn one of my tanks first, which I will be spawning a tank first. I don't spawn an SBA unless I bloody have to. But the point is that I can use the ZIS-12 to get points, but then if I fancy getting a few extra points in the match, or I've had a good game so far and I want to expand it further, I can take one of my rank 4 planes and boost my, shall we say, modifier a little bit further. Because as I remember, the 1.33 modifier was relevant here. And also the 0.9 modifier was relevant here. So once you add that together, you're getting a pretty dang decent payout. And I've only played 3 matches today. And as you'll see, I'm already a quarter of the way through my task. Fair enough, the match that I've saved for the KV-85, because I'm going to feature the KV-85 in a bit of a more in-depth, shall we say, video, that was incredible, and I don't think I get many runs like that in a KV-85, let alone many tanks these days. But the point is that with this trick, I was able to get quite a few more points than I was expecting, and I didn't even spawn the LA7 or the SU6. It's just because I had the option to, but I chose not to, and I still got 4,000 points. There's a lot of room to maneuver with this. So now going on to the Battle Pass challenges, because this is where I need to be a bit more specific about what I said earlier. So if we go to the challenges, you'll see here, player's vehicle rank 3 and above. Now what this means is, obviously this Battle Pass challenge is done, so it doesn't matter. But the point is that if we read it correctly, we can see here player's vehicle rank 3 and above. But if we go to the deliberate assault one, we have use the vehicle in the mission. So, if you're playing a rank 3 lineup and you've gotten 1 kill, died, and then you spawn in a rank 3 vehicle, as long as you meet the 70% battle activity requirement, which you probably will, you'll have another, shall we say, point added to this Battle Pass challenge. But if you did the same in the mission Reconnaissance by Fire, and you'd spawn in a rank 2 vehicle and then spawn in a rank 3 vehicle, only the kills you would get in a rank 3 vehicle would count. This is important wording, and it's very specific, but it's easy to spot once you know what you're looking for. And like I said, it is very easy to understand, and that's why I'm explaining it in the simplest way possible, because pretty much anyone should get this nailed on the head, and that's putting that lightly, because this is something where you can go, this is very easy, I've just unlocked my first rank 3 vehicle. I can make a rank 2 lineup, which I'll point out some examples, and I can get my task done with just 1 rank 3 vehicle. And of course, as I mentioned, planes also do count, so if you have a plane in that lineup that is rank 3 and you spawn it, you're golden. So, where's some examples? Well, obviously, I've pointed out one example with Russia already. But if you look carefully at pretty much every nation in the game, they have an answer. M4A2 is rank 4, or rank 3 battle rating 4, and it's a good tank. Does get meeting KV-85s, which doesn't like, let's put it that way. But you can take the M4 Sherman, the Chaffee, the M16 to do some anti-aircraft work, or the M19 for a bit more tank busting. But if we go over to planes, there's a rank 3 3.0 plane right here. So what you could do is you could even take the M4A3 105, which is a bit of a seal clubbing tank. You know, it's lost a bit of its touch now, it's 3.0, but it needed to. You could then take the M5A1, the M16, and maybe something lower tier as well. Throw in the Corsair plus another plane of your choice, maybe the first Helldiver, and you can actually get points using mostly rank 2 vehicles as long as you spawn at least one of those 2 vehicles that I've just mentioned here. That's how easy it is. Germany's the same. So if we go to Germany, they have some low BR planes like the Duck, which is 2.7. And remember, you don't actually have to do anything in these vehicles. Even if you get shot down by a spawn camper the second you spawn in, it still counts. And with Germany, they have disgusting low tier lineups. I mean, where do I start? Like, there's so many options to choose from. You can practically do this without making much of a trouble for yourself. And obviously, Russia, Britain, Japan, China, Italy, France, Sweden, Israel doesn't really have the option. But all of these nations have the ability to make your grind a lot easier. And it's all down to just reading the task. And as I mentioned about daily tasks, if you see here, player's vehicle, obviously this is a rank 2, but it is relevant if the rank 3 part of it comes into play. It's just because it was my first daily that day. But you can see here, player's vehicle must be a light or medium tank rank 2 and above, obviously rank 3 and above. You wouldn't be able to get away with that if you was using my trick. But if we go down to the daily task before that, we have play a battle destroying required number of enemy ground vehicles. Use the vehicle in the mission. This is such important wording, and trust me, it makes it so much easier for your grinding, especially if you're new to the game. But of course, this isn't the only thing we'll be talking about in the future. We will be talking about a few of my little tricks as well for certain daily tasks. Special tasks as well will be added into this. And yeah, we're going to be talking about that in the future. And I'm going to be helping a lot more with the, shall we say, task side of things. Because as I said, I've had a lot of people struggling recently. I do want to help them out because that's what I've been doing a lot more recently. I've been helping my Discord community with some of my tricks, and their grinding is a lot easier now thanks to my trick. And hopefully, this little trick of mine might just help you as well. Like I said though, please do make sure to just look at the vehicles that you're using in your lineup, and maybe see if you can sneak a rank 4 in that's the same BR, and it might just make your grind a little bit less stressful. And not only that, something in the case of the LA7, you know that's a good vehicle. So, there you go. But I hope that clears anything up, and hopefully it clears up some confusion. I hope you are all going to use this trick yourself. It is very useful. If you have any questions, please do feel free to ask them in the comments below. If you need advice on lineups or anything like that, I'm more than happy to help out and everything. But otherwise, I'm going to leave you all to it because I need to get back to grinding. And, well, I'm a quarter of the way through in 3 games, so that gives you an idea of how quick it's going for today. But, like I say, just make sure to read the task, and you should be golden. Stay tuned in the future because we will be covering the daily tasks that you can exploit. Some of them you can't, but we will be eventually covering those in future videos. And of course, I'll be focusing more a bit on guides and things like that. Without further ado, I'm going to leave you all to it for today. I hope you learned something today. Obviously, there are a few things which I haven't covered, but we can obviously talk about that in future videos. Anyway, I'll leave you all to it for today, and I'll see you all on the next one.